We're going to talk about 100 Years of Music 1 year later. So if you haven't watched that video, click right here and check it out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am safetytess, better known as Tess, and this is my mom.
Hi everybody.
This is Safety Mom.
Queen Mom.
Queen Sharon. This is Sharon. Everyone can go, my Sharona in the comments because that's my mom. So today we are going to be reacting, talking, and answering frequently asked questions about your good old friend, 100 Years of Music. Me and my mom together recorded 100 Years of Music. It was 8 hours of shooting. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember it very well. Move. Turn around.
Champagne glasses,
Yeah.
regular champagne glasses.
No.
Oh, man. I'm gonna try again because I feel like I'm shaking a lot. Doesn't my hair look really good? I'm really impressed.
Yep, it's right.
I'm recording right now. That's a wrap! Mom, that's a wrap! You're out of focus in the background, but say that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap! It's the end of the shoot. 100 Years of Music! But if you haven't watched 100 Years of Music and you've gotten this far, click right here on this card to watch it before you watch this, because you'll learn something and then you can come back and find out all the secret things that we hid inside of 100 Years of Music.
Yes.
Before we watch though, I do want to say the reason I did 100 Years of Music is because I really enjoy 100 Years videos and I'm a big pop culture kind of buff. My mom can vouch now, she's in this video. I'm a big pop culture buff, a big kind of history of pop culture buff, and there was no 100 Years of Music. There was even like 100 Years of Crafts, and I was like, how is there not a 100 Years of Music? So I took it upon myself and my wardrobe to do it, and this is what we got, so we're gonna watch it.
I do like to be among the from where the brass band plays tickety-yum.
Where did we get, what was the background?
We took tissue paper and we cut it and then we fluffed it out.
We kind of made like feather boas out of
Yes.
tissue paper. But the reason we had this backdrop and the reason I got to film this video, because usually when you film 100 Years of Music, you have a white cyc, and I don't have a white cyc, is because we do New Year's backdrop. So this is why we're kind of sitting in front of our New Year's backdrop this year. And last year our theme was like all white with neon letters.
With joy, and when you're near, I'm gonna find that was long ago.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, there's the...
So I'm wearing this hat because so many people in the comments were like, the girl in the 1920s, where is she? She hid herself behind this hat. And actually, like I mentioned before, all of these costumes in this video are from my own closet. I frequently wear vintage and own vintage and like repro vintage. And so I wanted to be as historically accurate as possible because I really appreciate when people are historically accurate, because I want to learn, you know, not all the 50s is sock hops. It was more about pencil pants and penny loafers. But so in the 20s was one of my hardest outfits because you would think, you know, someone would wear a flapper dress. And I did have a flapper dress, but I had gotten rid of it before. So I wanted to do like the jewelry, very like, you know, and I didn't want to have to change my makeup so much because I was being historically accurate on my makeup as well, that I thought it would be fun to cover my face and give myself that like...
Everybody get with it now, get with it, let's dance it.
The red blazer I bought when I was
high school.
15. Yeah.
It's like heaven to be near you.
I do have to say this is people's favorite year. Overall, out of the comments, I have like over
47.
1,000 comments. Everyone's like, the girl in the 40s looks just like the 40s. And this was actually the hardest hair because my hair is so long. And the time period, almost like their hair is here so they can roll it up. It was a lot. Oh, fun fact about this. What's fun about this outfit, Mom?
I made that.
Not for this video.
No, but I made it for Disney
Dapper Days.
Dapper Days.
In 2013, I wore it to Dapper Days, and it's like from an old pattern. They like Simplicity re-released all their old patterns.
It's like a retro pattern.
Re-released, and we did this dress. And it was funny because 40s and 50s are very close in silhouettes, and I wanted to differentiate them, so I was so happy that I had this dress.
There you go.
Oh, this was another favorite year, too. Everyone was like, I love the Beatles! Let she go friends. How she dance in the courtyard. Sweet summer home. This is my dad's jacket. And my uncle's t-shirt. And my bow. My brother's toys. Mannequin challenge.
Awesome.
A lot of people comment on the record I'm holding too. Those earrings actually hurt my ears. Yay! Almost 500,000 views!
Awesome. Celebration.
Woo!
Definitely.
We don't have confetti, but
All our hard work paid off, and everybody can enjoy it.
tell you a little bit about the most commented thing, good and bad. Because, honey, when the internet sees you, they sure do know how to tear a person apart. There was when it first started, though, and there was mean comments, I didn't let them get to me, but it was kind of like, geez, why did you even waste your time?
I don't know why. I don't understand that.
I don't know. So like we said, it's almost at 500,000 views, which is incredible because I think this video really helped people see my channel because it became part of the algorithm, and then people were like, oh my gosh. But what I noticed is people comment on the video like you are not the person who made the video, which I guess makes sense because most of 100 Years of Music 100 Years videos are made by like program companies or whatever, or like people that are in a group, and it's like someone shooting a model and then they edit it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was all, my mom helped me shoot it, but it was all me. Like I did the costumes, the research, like it was, I'm very attached to this video because I'm very passionate about these certain things, like learning about the history of music. So like it meant a lot to me. And when people would like try to rain on my parade, like I just was like, what the heck? Did you not even read the description or even pay attention at all? A lot of people would comment not even watching the whole thing. Like there was a comment one time that was like, she only changes twice. And I'm like, I change 11 times actually. And my hair changes and everything.
Outfits, songs.
Everything,
yeah.
songs. Okay, and so the songs that I played in the video, this is the hidden secret if nobody read the description. I picked a song from the top 5 of that ending year off of the American-based charts. Now, we didn't have Billboard charts until like the later 50s, so I based it off of like, album sales and radio like engagement, because I obviously did something from like the early 1900s, and then we did 1920s. And I wanted to showcase artists I also liked. Like I wanted it to be influenced by me personally. And so a lot of people were like, 100 Years of Popular, like they would try to say American music, but I didn't want to say American because the very first person you hear is from Australia. Wow. That woman in the beginning is from Australia. And so I was like, I can't do that because
But they played it in America.
Right, but I still didn't want it to say American music, and not all the musicians were from America. Yeah. So that was one big thing. Another big thing was people were so mad that Michael Jackson was not in this video. Like so angry, and I don't know if it's just like you have to feed people information, but all of these were based off of a year ending in 7. And if you ever look through the comments, you will see a copy and paste comment by me that says, this is based off the top 5 of the ending year in 7. Thriller was released before 1987 and like after 1977.
So you just have to do a...
I was thinking about doing
30 years of Michael Jackson.
Yeah, something like that. This next comment was the most commented thing, and my mom's going to help you figure out the answer to this. It was, is this a man or a woman?
in the video?
Every, like, 3 days I would get a comment that was like, I don't mean to be rude, but is this a man or is this a woman? And first off, that's not even an insult, because does it really matter?
No.
If I was a man dressing as a woman. But I'm not. Mom, what was I when I was born?
You were a woman.
And I identify
Woman child.
as a woman or a girl. So just to clear that up, if you were really wondering, now you know.
There you go.
Another comment I got a lot was people were angry because they thought I did not include black music. And this is a touchy subject because of the fact that I'm white. My mom is white as well. But I am very passionate about blues music, and without black people, we would not have blues. And so I love Fats Domino, and like at least like 5 or 6 of these songs are black artists or singers like Whitney Houston and stuff like that. Oh my goodness, we lost a letter. But I did respond to a lot of comments that were like kind of lashing out at me about the music I chose. Really and truly, I just listened to the top 5, and whatever I thought really represented the time period is what I chose. But I did choose like Fats Domino because I love him and I felt like he represented the time period. And some of the time periods, if you listen, go into 3 songs almost. But it's really hard to condense 100 years into less than like 100 minutes, you know, because people were expecting so much out of me, and I think it's because they didn't make it, so you don't know how much work goes into it.
Well, but it's exactly. It's easy for them to say, "Well, where's Michael Jackson?
Where's this?
They don't know all the things that go on behind the scenes."
Okay, so here's a actual behind the scenes secret that not very many people know. Every shot we took, my mom zoomed out the lens so that we could zoom back in, and that did not make the cut. How does that make you feel?
And then there's one other thing. You come in from one end, and then the other time.
And we couldn't remember what side we came in, so we ended up doing a hanger or something, right?
Something.
Every time we got to another side, I would put like a hanger on the door on the other side, so we remembered to come in from the opposite side. Yeah, I remember that because it was so annoying because you couldn't remember. I didn't want to watch every clip every single time to see what
it made it better because it's like
it was like I was changing very quickly, which I was not.
Right.
And if I could change something, I would actually edit it better. Like I would choose to take the footage I have now and remaster it, because all of it's really great footage, but some of the like lighting and stuff changes, and I feel like I could fix that now. That my dad made a point to tell me that he thought it was funny that I could represent 100 years of fashion from my closet. And like I said, 20s was a little hard for me, but every other...
It wasn't time period, but you took what you had.
Right, and there was real pieces in there that were from the time period, like my sunglasses. The 60s was all 60s. Even the magazine is from the 60s. It's from 66, which was in 67, but it's okay. It came out the year before.
Right.
The 50s was a real pattern, but it wasn't vintage. Cream of wheat container is a repro of a cream of wheat container in the 1930s. 1930s headpiece is original.
Yep.
This is original. Some of the jewelry is. Some of the brooches are original. Those are your brooches.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff was like definitely like repro. But I also, like I said, wanted to be so historically accurate that my makeup was historically accurate. If you pay attention...
Hair.
In the 30s, my lips go from this size to like way smaller because it was really attractive to have thin lips in the 1930s, so I concealed half of my lips. Okay, so I had 2 years that I had just my feet. So I was actually going to do more years in feet, but I felt like it wasn't as impacting. And for some reason, I know it bothered some people, but I just felt like bell bottoms represented the 70s way better than I could ever represent the 70s in this part of my body. And my mom can vouch because she was
bell bottoms,
in the 70s. And then as far as the 90s, I was a kid in the 90s, so I wanted to represent that part of like being a kid. And I thought it was better to like put like the biggest movie of the 90s, which was Toy Story. So that's kind of why I chose to do shoes. Also, just not to bore you the whole time
it up a little bit.
With my eyes, which normally you would probably do 3 shoes. I felt like it was fine. Some people were really mad about it, but I mean, I just didn't think I could represent going from 60s to 70s. They are relative, but they are not the same. But I felt like the 70s was better represented on the bottom half of my body.
Bell bottoms.
Also, if anyone wants to know what the songs were, there was a link in the description. Man, I got so many comments what's this song? What's this song? What's this song? And I listed them, and I also have a link to a playlist, which I'll link down below, that has more than just the songs that are in the video, which I always do. A lot of people actually were really upset after the 1990s. Everyone complained about the time period you're in, and I talk about this a lot in my videos. You will never like the time period you're in fully until it's past. Because, like, there are probably songs in the 70s all of y'all hated.
Well, the thing of it is, it's like...
You hear it all the time,
But it's weird how, like, me now, it's like, oh my gosh, now that is music. When I hear something that I grew up with...
Right.
You might have hated it because it played it over and over on the radio.
But you love it.
But when you hear it later, you go, now that's real music. Because it brings back memories of when you were in high school.
Yeah.
Dragging down the street.
So that's why I think, and also, even if you don't not necessarily like this time period music, I kept telling people in the comments that you haven't just looked for something that you like, because there's so many bands that do what everyone wants from old bands. Like, I use the Lemon Twigs as a good example, because people are like, nobody does rock and roll anymore. And there's, like, the Black Keys and the White, you know, and Jack White and the Lemon Twigs. There's so many artists that do that. You just can't depend on the top 40 to feed you everything you love. Because top 40 is fast and fun right now. And most top 40 music is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. I mean, it is about love, but usually it's something that makes you be like, dig
a little deeper.
To find what you like.
Yes, into the genre of music to find what you like.
And there's lots of, like, recommendations. You can also check out my Jukebox Selects if you're looking for something. I'm not a big fan of dissing a time period because you think it doesn't have anything you like in it, because I feel like you could just look a little bit more and you would be really, really surprised. That's also why I go to a lot of music festivals, or even look up smaller bands in music festivals, because you'll be surprised, because a lot of people want what, like, the Beatles and the Stones were.
And the festivals, it's up and coming too.
Yeah, a lot of artists that aren't popular at all.
You go to the festivals and you see a band and they're like, oh my gosh, they're so good, but they're like on the verge of hitting, because we did that with Fun.
Oh, that also, we could say something really funny. Is we saw Ed Sheeran for free on a porch in 2011.
And Walk the Moon before they hit the big
we saw Walk the Moon multiple times.
But when you see them and you don't know their music, it's like, oh my gosh, this band's so good. And then, bam, they're up and coming. And
Fun's a big one, too.
Yes, Fun was
like, we were with Fun when they were little babies, and then they became huge, big old stars.
And we even met some of the members. And
I worked with the record label, so that was like a cool thing, because Jack Antonoff is in Fun.
Yes.
But that's also why I think I'm protective of all bands, because they all came from somewhere and you don't know their background, so I feel like it's not fair to insult them, because you don't, unless they hurt you physically or are hurting you with words.
And if you don't like the music, when
listen to something else.
Exactly. Just
talk about what you
change
like.
The channel, so to speak.
Get Sirius XM. Try a Spotify playlist. Link down below. There's a lot of people have their own fights in the comment section with each other. And also, people assume that I would never respond, and I've responded to every single comment. I still get comments daily from this video. I always get on my YouTube excited, like my new video gets a comment, and it's 100 years of music. You know, one of the things I did learn from this video, though, is I used to take being called Mama Cass as an insult, and then I stepped back for a second and was like, Mama Cass was really cool. Oh. Mama Cass was in the Mamas and the Papas.
Right.
You know, Cass Elliot sang beautifully. And so I think I learned from this video, actually, like, if someone calls me Mama Cass, I know they're relating it to the way I look, but I should take it as a compliment, because she was an awesome, incredible writer, singer, everything. Wore her psychedelic lifestyle.
I mean, the woman got up there. Nowadays, people don't care what people look like. If they sing good,
You think they cared back then?
Oh, yes, they cared back then.
They made fun of her?
Well, not necessarily funny, but they really did care. They looked at the visual. But nowadays, it's awesome because
they don't.
Yeah, you can be like Freak. And
you should look up what Carrie Underwood used to look like, because she doesn't look the same anymore. Right. Not even plastic surgery. I just mean she was like very, like, not glam. She was like,
well, she was a Bo Hidley.
Wasn't country. She like? Didn't she work? Her family had like a farm or something.
Yeah, she lived on a farm. Yeah.
So, would you guys like to see me go into different time periods or different artists in general. There was a lot of people who requested something on hip hop, and I feel like I could get some friends to help me on that necessarily, because that's the genre I try to research the most on, because I know the least about it. And like all last South by, I went to only hip hop movies. I met Warren G. If you guys are hip hop fans, you know who Warren G is. He's like Snoop Dogg's hype man, and then he became
Oh, I love Snoop Dogg.
then he became popular for Regulate, and I met him, talked to him, asked him questions. He was so nice. And so if we could do we could collaborate and do some hip hop together if you guys want to do a hip hop one. I think I would like to go in depth of the 50s and the 20s, because I feel like those genres were really pinnacle and turning points in music, and there's just so much that happened between like ragtime and like orchestra turning into what ragtime was, and
like the
bars.
50s. We were discussing this over fixing supper the other night, how the 50s music makes you want to swing your hips.
Oh yeah.
As a teenager, I mean, I'm sure there was some
I said this, the 50s makes me want to do this.
And
we said,
telling my daughter, I said, yeah, that's what all the parents got all upset about.
The kids liked it, but the parents did not. That's a huge thing too. I think people also lash out on music because they're like, oh, this is this. But it's like, you have to remember that the parents hated the Beatles and hated the Rolling Stones because they were just like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and whatever.
They were making their kids do like, not necessarily, they didn't bump and grind, but it was
I just meant they were like the trendy thing now, and they didn't understand it, so they were like, what are you doing? Why are you listening to that?
And more parents are more like, they listen to the music with their kid, going to school or whatever, so they're more in tune with what's on the radio, and they know their kids are going to be moving and grooving, because they want to move it and groove too, so...
Okay, well, if you guys have any questions for my mom, or if you want to see more of Queen Sharon, my Sharona, comment down below, because this woman was, I always think of roller discos in the 70s and my mom, because you were an adolescent in the 70s. You grew up you were a kid in the 60s, a teen and adult in the 70s, and you were like an adult in the 80s.
Right.
So you have a lot of music background. My parents are both very musical. I talk about my dad a lot, but like if it comes down to the end of the world, who am I going to dance with on the dance floor?
That's right.
It's my mom. But that's all I have for you guys. Make sure to comment down below. Check out the Spotify playlist. If you haven't watched 100 Years of Music and you watched this for some odd reason, make sure to click the card above and go see 100 Years of Music. And if you want to watch it again, be sure to watch it again. Maybe we can finally get it to 500,000 views. That'd be kind of cool. But make sure to hit that subscribe button too, because if you're coming for 100 Years of Music, I do music videos all year long about working in the industry, about music, finding new music and old music. I'm your history buff.
Yes.
But until next time, have a great day, a great night, and a great life. I'll see you very soon. Bye! We did it.
Awesome. I think it turned out good.
I do like to be upon the sunshine where the glasslands play liberally, bum. That's not the right words. That's a fun fact. I did not put the Rolling Stones in this video, and they're my favorite band. Yep. That took a lot.